Here I just want to talk a little bit about how to preview the data differently and save it as interactive HTML files. I've kind of shown this throughout all the videos, several different videos, but I thought I'd just quickly make a separate one here. Whenever you're working in these data grids, you do have an option to view the image within the data grid, but you also have a couple more options here. You can right click and go to preview and select and look at this data in HTML table in your browser. So I'm just going to get rid of all these other windows here. And so you can see you've got this HTML table, and you can actually hover over these images to see a bigger image to the right. You can also remove them if you want. If you refresh, they come back. You can also search in real time, and it will kind of filter it out. It's a search filter, and you can sort things like that. And what's cool about this particular file is you can actually deliver this file as a standalone document to your clients or to your team, or if you would like to do that, or you can save it for yourself. And so to do that, you can use the file button, down here. You can go File, Export. Get it into view here. Export interactive HTML table file. So do that, and you can save it. I'll just save it here. You can see there's one there already, but I'll just overwrite it. And I want to get back to where I saved it. You can easily just click File, Open Last Working Folder. And you can see it's right here, Table Report. So I'll just delete that there. So this is the file we just created. So we double click that, it will just open up in our default web browser. And that's the cool beauty of it. It's a standalone report file. I know it's an HTML file, and people get a little confused thinking that, oh, it's an HTML file. It has to be on the internet in order for people to see it. No, it does not. It only has to be on your computer, just like any other file, just like a CSV file, just like a text file. It's no different at all. The way that I designed this particular file is a standalone file. So it's awesome. You can actually just deliver this file to your customers just like any other file, like attaching it to an email or zipping it up. So, I can right click. I use 7-zip. So right click, 7-zip. I'm going to add it to a compressed file. And now I can take this file and just deliver it through email, or upload it to the internet so someone can download it, put it in my Dropbox, whatever you want to do, and people can download it. And then when they download it to their computer, they get this file, and all they have to do is double click it. And it will automatically open up in their default web browser that they use every single day, and it will look just like this. So it's awesome. And in my opinion, it's way better than having a PDF document or like a Word document, because in PDF documents, you don't have the ability to hover your mouse and have the image show up. You don't have the ability to sort columns. You don't have the ability to show a certain amount up here. You don't have the ability to search live filters. I mean, you can't do any of that stuff in a PDF document or a Word document. So, it's pretty awesome. So that's why I built that in there, so you can deliver these files to your team or save them for yourself later on. That's pretty cool. And of course, you can save this data in many other different ways. You can save it as a project file. Each of these tools have their own unique project file format, will only open up within the tool. And as usual, you can save as a spreadsheet or a text file. Now, another option you can do is you can preview as a feed. And here's another option. This is sort of resembles how you see it on Pinterest a little bit. So you can see all of the images in kind of like a card stacked format. And I add more data here. So, on Pinterest, you don't see these numbers. Number of saves this pin has, repins, comments, reactions, followers, removes, whether or not it's a video, whether it's a repin. And there's also another one here that will say if it's an advertisement. And there's no ads in this particular one. But at the top, you have the ability to sort by comments, reactions, pinners, saves, and you have a live search as well. So if you start typing the word, it will highlight the word and also filter it and tell you the results up here, the number of results. So take it out of there. And you know what's cool? This file is also a standalone file. You can deliver this actual HTML file just like any other file, just exactly what I showed you before. Pretty awesome. So you right click, export, and you can save your feed. And then just like before, this is the feed file, Again, you can just deliver that wherever you want to do, and when your customer gets it or whoever receives the file, they just double click it and boom, opens up in their browser. Nothing else is needed, and they can have all this functionality right in their browser immediately. Pretty awesome. Let's say you have a team that works for you that does your repinning for you, or your sort of Pinterest management. You could send them that file and say, hey, look, I want you to repin all these pins for me today. Something like that. And you just send them that file and they can go ahead and do it. So pretty awesome. And that ability is also in the boards and people. So if let's just quickly do a search for forging in boards. If you right click, you can also preview as table, and right click and preview as feed. So they're a little bit different. You have a little bit different data here than you do with the pins, of course, because these are boards we're looking at, not pins. And finally, with people, same idea. You have the same ability to preview in table and feed. Now with the feed, it's just, this is the image of the user, and it's kind of just the same image here and here. There's no other image to really show, so I kind of had to double it up there, but you do get more information here, all this cool stuff like board count, pin count, board followers, video pin count, interest count, profile views. So, and you can go ahead and sort, and just like all the other files, you can deliver this report again just by using the file and export. And that's how you can preview the files in table and feed formats, and also deliver those as reports to your customers or clients or to your team or whatever. That's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. So here I just want to quickly do a little separate video and just talking about how to save and load data into the software. So to do that, there's kind of like a lot of little different places you can actually save and load data. So let me just start with the keyword tools, keyword generator. Let's just get a few keywords going on here. So firstly, in this tool here, you can have your keywords. You'll see whenever you see a button that says file, you can assume that you can save data, so or save or load data. So for data like save the keywords in here, you can actually open and save a text file. So you can save this, if you like, to a text file that contains those keywords. And if you clear that out, you can now load that back in. Pretty self-explanatory, right? And over here, again, you have all these different saving options. And in each one of these tools, you'll have a file button. And each one of them, you'll have this save to project and load from project. So each one of these tools has its own dedicated project format file. So if I save this to a project file, it's a keyword project file for just pin inspector. So if I save that there, so when I go to, if I clear that out, if I go and load, he will only find this type of file. That's the only type of file that you can actually load back into the software that you just saved. So you do have other options. You can save each one of my tools. In here, you can save as a comma delimited file or a text file. So if you save as comma delimited file, it will save as CSV. And whenever you want to get to where you are saving files, where you kind of like the last folder you're working in, I wish other software did this. I do this in all my software. When you click file, you'll notice these handy little features at the bottom. You can open last working folder. So it opens up your Windows Explorer, automatically brings you to where you just saved that file. I mean, how handy would that be if that was in all software that existed? Microsoft. Sorry, had to voice my frustration with their software. Anyhow, now we can see where we just saved that file. We can open it up, and now we can open it up in none other than Microsoft. So now we can have all the data here. So in the other tools, I just want to illustrate that as well. So if you go to the pins, you can go ahead and save the data to a project file as pins. And then you can go ahead and just load that file back up just like normal, or you can save it to comma delimited or text file. Now you do also have the option to export these to interactive HTML files. Now I did record another video showing that. I'll just quickly show that again here. But you know, excuse me, you'll notice that when you do a preview, you have these different options, table and feed, where you can save those table and feed previews as files. So let's go ahead and save it as HTML table report. And let's do the feed as well. And we can go and take a look at them. Sort by last modified there. And these are the two files. And like I keep mentioning in all the other videos and stuff, sorry if I'm repeating myself here, but you can deliver these files as standalone files to your clients, your team, or anyone you want, just like any other file, like a text file, or even like a CSV file. So, you know, kind of what do I mean by that? And I keep saying that. Let's say I created a feed file. So this is a feed report, and I like all of these pins, and I really want to repin these. So what I can do is I can send this file to my team, and then they can go through here, click on it, and go and repin it from my account. So how do you do that? Well, this file, I know it's an HTML file, and people think that, oh, that has to be on the internet for people to see it. Well, that's not the case here. I created standalone HTML files where you can just deliver that like any other file. So I mean, if you've got Gmail and you do an attachment, you can attach this and send it to your customer or your client or your team. And when they get it, they put it on their computer just like this. And as soon as they double click it, it just opens up in their default web browser. And now they can start doing what they want to do with it. And you can deliver it any way you want. You can even zip it up. So I use 7-zip, so I can right click and go 7-zip in feed report.zip, and you just create a zip. Now, if you don't know what 7-zip is, I'll just quickly show you. If you go to 7-zip.org.com, it's a free software. You could just download it right here for Windows. If you've got 64-bit or 32-bit, just go ahead and download and install it. And then when you right-click anything on your computer, you'll have this 7-zip option here, and you can add it to an archive, or you can even extract zip files. So I'd like 7-zip. It's free. It's always been free. It's easy to use. But obviously people use WinZip, or another one is WinRAR, I believe. But that's how you can deliver those files. And same with the boards as well as the people. You can, same thing, save project files and save to comma delimited, and also the export the interactive files for both of those modules. They're all a little bit different. So it's pretty self-explanatory, but I just wanted to quickly do a little overview of how to do it, just in case you can't find it. In the browse and scrape, you also have this here where you have to manually enter in your pin links to extract, and you do have this file button here to work with stuff in here. So you can save the pins to a text file. You can actually import pins from another text file, or even import pins from a previously saved project file. So that's pretty cool too. So that's a quick overview of how to save and load files to the software. We'll see you in the next video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the quick filters, the column quick filters, as well as the custom filters. So once you have a lot of data in whatever grid you got here, so like there's the pins grid, the boards grid, or the people's grid here, these have their different sets of filters that you can use to narrow down your results to what you really want. Now, the easiest and quickest way to get what you want is basically use the column quick filter. So at the very top, you'll see these little magnifying glasses. So if you just click that, you'll notice you'll have all these different options here to filter by. So I want to filter all of the saves that are greater than 500, and boom, they're all there. Now, you can also clear out those column filters by clicking here. Let's say you want to see all the ones that are less than 500. Now, let's say you see something up here that you do not, you want to try something else. I want to look at everything that's greater than, say, 125. So you can actually just type it in there. Make sure you don't put any spaces or anything like that, or any weird characters. Just greater than and your number, and go like that. Now you can also use equal if you'd like. There's none here that equal that much. You can just clear that out. So that's how you can quickly use the quick filters. And you can do it on every column if you like. You have multiple at the same time. Another one is when you get to a column that isn't numbers, that contains text like this, you click that and it'll automatically come up with a text search. So now you can go and filter out by keyword. So everything that contains the word that you put in here will show up. Cool, right? Now here's one other cool thing. You have access to custom filters, because these are just quick, real fast filters. You can get to your data you want real fast, but you also have custom filters. So let me just show you this little filters button down the bottom. If you click that and go show filters, there's a window here that will keep track of all the filters that's going on in the grid. So you can see we actually filtered these 4 columns. And as you notice, when you filter a column, it goes green color. You can see the column name, the type, and the values here. In fact, even if you start doing it here, it will live update over here. Went to 1500, went to 10, went to 200. So that's pretty cool. You can clear it out. It removes it from there. And so with those little windows, these are just pop-up windows. That's all it is. So if you click out, it'll kind of behave like a pop-up, but you do have the option to move it out of your way. Like say you wanted to kind of see what was going on. So I put that there as well. Same thing with over here. You can kind of move it out of your way if you want to zoom it, but as soon as you click somewhere, it will close down like a normal pop-up. Now to remove all the filters, it's really simple. Down here on the filters button, you can go filters and clear filters. You also can right click and you got access to that menu. But if you go filters, clear filters, you can clear like that. Also in the filters window, you can remove them this way, remove the selected ones you have selected in here. So let's talk about the custom filters a little bit more if you want to do something even a little bit more specialized and customized. So let's say, for example, you click in here, you got to click 3 times to get it to activate. And then you get down to, let's say, look at saves. And I want to look at saves that are greater than, let's say, 200 saves. And I add another filter. And let's go back down to saves. But I also want to be less than, let's say, 1000. So now you apply that, and now you have a range. So you can apply ranges. You can apply any filter you can probably think of in here and just start to narrow down your results. And what's really cool too, let's go ahead and remove these filters. Let's say, let's just do a bunch here. Like let's go, I want the word funny in here. I want saves greater than 200, more than 100 repins. I'm just manually just putting some arbitrary stuff in here. So let's say this is my set of filters that I like using all the time when I'm analyzing a bunch of pins. You can actually save this to a filter file. Now each grid has its own filter file. So if I actually go to the next grid, you'll see it'll automatically say, okay, we're on the boards grid right now, but there's no filters active. So if we go back, it'll automatically know. And just, so here's the cool thing I wanted to show you. Let's go and just remove all the filters here real quick. And let's just close this out of here. So if you load up, you got your 400 pins here or 1,000 pins or something like that, and you want to quickly filter it and you don't want to be dealing with all this stuff, all you have to do is just click this button, filters button, load filter file, and load it, and boom, there you go. You got the exact data you want because you saved your custom filter file. You can also access that from right-clicking filters and load filter file as well. And that, you can apply that to each and every one of these data grids has its own set of filters and own filter file. And that makes it super simple and easy to get to the data you need right away. So that's how you use the column quick filters and the custom filters kind of window here. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Here I want to talk about the columns option. So as we already know here, we got an incredible amount of data that we pull back for all these different data grids. And you may find that some of this data is not quite useful for your particular research. So I decided to integrate a feature here where if you click on this button here, all the grids will have this button. And if you click here, it will show you all of the columns. So what we can do here is you can click uncheck and it will just basically hide the columns. The columns are still there. They just have a width of 0. So if you just want to see, for example, like the title, the saves, repins, comments, and maybe just like, total reactions, maybe some hashtags, site name, just things like that. And so this is just a pop-up window. So if you click anywhere else, it'll just kind of disappear. And now we can just see the data that we want. And we do all our normal stuff, sorting and all that kind of stuff. So, and then the software will remember. So when you close the software and reopen it, it'll only show the columns that we have set in here. So it'll always remember. So if you want to get back to defaults or whatever, or you just select, it's pretty self-explanatory. You can just check them all, uncheck, or just select defaults. Defaults is just selecting them all. And that's how we can, you can sort of keep track of what you want to see in the data grids, just sort of make it a little bit easier to see the data. And like I said, I've integrated that in each of the ones. So you can come in here and select what you want to see. And it will remember when you open up the software. So not much more to see in this video. I just want to quickly show you that new columns feature.